Omagyanatimanasya Jnanslakya Sakshvamritam Yena Tasmai Shigurvinma Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Itinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachai Dasatarine. Hare Krishna, good morning. Today is the 14th of July. This date is very significant for the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, which was founded, if I'm not mistaken, on the 14th of July 1966 in New York, 26 Second Avenue. Srila Prabhupada got some supporters together to sign for the Incorporation Act. So ISKCON today is 54 years old. So today we will speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnations. And today we will speak on text 8. Text 8 is about Narada Muni, that Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Titriyam Rishi Sargam Vai Devarshitvam Upetyaisa Tatram Sat Fatam Ashasta Naiskaryam Karmanat Yataha. Word for word translation. Tritiyam, the third one. Rishi Sargam, the millennium of the rishis. Vai, certainly. Devarshitvam, incarnation of the rishi amongst the demigods. Upetya, having accepted. Saha, he. Tantram, exposition of the Vedas. Sattvatam, which is especially meant for devotional service. Ashasta, collected. Naiskaryam, non-fruitive. Karmanam, of work. Yataha, from which. In the millennium of the rishis, the personality of Godhead accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of Devarshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected expositions of the Vedas which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Purport. The great Rishi Narada, who is an empowered incarnation of the personality of Godhead, propagates devotional service all over the universe. All the great devotees of the Lord, all over the universe, and in different planets and species of life are his disciples. Srila Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Srimad Bhagavatam, is also one of his disciples. Narada is the author of Narada Pancharatra, which is exposition of the Vedas, particularly for the devotional service of the Lord. This Narada Pancharatra trains the karmis, or the fruitive worker, to achieve liberation from the bondage of fruitive work. The conditioned soul are mostly attracted by fruitive work because They want to enjoy life by the sweat of their own brows. The whole universe is full of fruitive workers in all species of life. The fruitive works include all kinds of economic development plans, but the law of nature provides that every action has its resultant reaction, and the performer of work is bound by such reactions, good or bad. The reaction of good work is compared to material prosperity, whereas the reaction to bad work is compared to material distress. But material conditions, either in so-called happiness or in so-called distress, are meant ultimately for distress only. Foolish materialists have no information of how to obtain eternal happiness in the unconditional state. Shinarda informs these foolish fruitive workers how to realize the reality of happiness. He gives direction to the diseased man of the world, how one's present engagement can lead one to the path of spiritual emancipation. The physician directs the patient to take treated milk in the form of curd for his sufferings from indigestion. Due to his taking another milk preparation. So the cause of the disease and the remedy of the disease may be the same, but it must be treated by an expert physician like Narada. The Bhagavad Gita also gives the same solution of serving the Lord by the fruits of one's labor. That will lead one to the path of Naishkarmya, or liberation. I repeat the verse again. Titriyam Rishi Sargambai Nivarshitvam Upechasa Tatram Sattvatamashasta Naiskaryam Karmana Yata. In the millennia of the Rishis, the personality of God had accepted the third empowered incarnation in the form of the Varshi Narada, who is a great sage among the demigods. He collected exposition of the Vedas, which deal with devotional service and which inspire non-fruitive action. Omajnana Timanasya Nansana Shlakena Sakshan Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. So this morning we will speak on Narada Muni, an empowered incarnation of the Lord. Empowered, Shaktiya base, that it's a living entity, spirit soul empowered by the Lord with a certain mission. There's always a certain mission. And what is the mission of Narada Muni? It's Narada. Da means giving. Na, Lord Narayan. He gives the Supreme Lord, he gives bhakti to the Supreme Lord to others. In other words, he propagates devotional service all over the world. He is known as an transcendental spaceman. He travels in the material worlds, in the spiritual worlds, and between. That because he has a spiritual body. No impediments. He can go everywhere he wants. He's not under the rules of material nature. Narada Muni appears. You can see him that he's walking in the air. Yes. And he always, while he travels, he said, Narada Muni Bhajana Vina Radhika Ramana Me. While traveling, he always plays on his Veena and it chants the names of Radhika Raman. So that's Narada Muni's job. He travels to spread devotional service. That he has many disciples. We have Srila Vyasadeva as his disciple. That In our Guru Parampara, you have Brahma, Narada, and then after Narada, you have Vyasadeva. He's his disciple. Also, Vyasadeva is also an incarnation, also empowered, but he has another mission. His mission is to write down the Vedas. But we will see further in the Bhagavatam, especially in the chapter 4, 5, and 6, the 3 following chapters, the whole history of the Bhagavatam will be explained. And there, it starts with Srila Vyasadeva's doubts. He has doubts. He wrote all the Vedas, the Mahabharata, and so on, and Puranas, but he did not feel satisfied in heart. He was contemplating what's wrong, and then suddenly Narada Muni in the air appeared before him. And he came to Srila Vyasadeva and immediately said, "Are you only concerned with the body and the mind? That's why you are not feeling satisfied inside. Because you have inspired others by writing all this karma kanda in Vedas, this karma kanda and how to do pious work and enjoy. You have inspired them to enjoy in a religious way. But you did not sufficiently glorify the Supreme Personality of God. That you did not point to bhakti. And then to demonstrate the power of bhakti, Narada Muni tells the whole story of his previous life. Narada Muni had also other disciples which are described in the Bhagavatam, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, and also Priyavrata Maharaj. Priyavrata Maharaj, he was instructed by his father Swambhuvamana to become the emperor of the world, because there was no emperor. But Priyavrata was doing austerity in the Himalayas, and he felt satisfied as a brahmachari, and he asked his spiritual master, Narada Muni, "What should I do?" And Narada Muni said, "You should remain brahmachari, you don't need to marry." That of course, Narada Muni is a staunch brahmachari himself. Of course, the story goes that Lord Brahma came and he overruled the instruction of Narada Muni, because he's the father and the spiritual master of Narada Muni. And he told Priyavrata that you should become the emperor, and you should also engage in procreation, because we are still at the beginning of creation. The universe must become populated. And don't worry, as long as I got that same order from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as long as you are focused on that order and do it to please Him, you will not be in illusion. That was his teaching. Now, Priyavrata, disciple of Narada Muni, and here, that's special. This is Narada Muni instructing Kayadu. Who is Kayadu? Kayadu is the wife of Hiranyakasipu. How can Narada Muni, as a staunch brahmachari, instruct that lady? It is when Hiranyakasipu was doing great austerities. Then the demigods came to know that Kayadu was pregnant. And they were thinking there's another big demon in our womb. And so they came down and they kidnapped Kayadu with the purpose to bring her to the heavenly planets. And when she would give birth, they would kill the demon. But on the way, they met Narada Muni. And Narada Muni said, "What are you doing?" And they explained. And Narada Muni said, No. In our womb, there is a pure devotee that I will take Kayadu with me, to my ashram, to give her shelter until Hiranyakasipu has finished his austerities. And of course, that's the difference between demigods and demons. The demigods immediately accept the instructions of great devotees. Because Narada Muni is one of the 12 Mahajans. That's Swayambhu, Narada, Sambhu. So first Brahma, Narada, and then Sambhu means the best devotee, Shiva. So the demigods immediately, after hearing that from Narada Muni, they circumambulated Kayadu to give respect to the pure devotee in her womb, and they disappeared. And here in the picture you see Narada Muni is instructing Kayadu in the and teaching her the Bhagavatam. But in her womb is Prahlad. And Narada blessed Prahlad while he was speaking in her womb. And Prahlad was hearing that Kayadu was also hearing, but not registering. Her heart was with her husband. And the words went in one ear and out the other, and she didn't retain anything. But Prahlad remembered all the details. So Narada Muni, what is he really good in? What is his specialty, skills? He is expert in the dovetailing technique. And that's explained in the purport by Srila Prabhupada. Narada Muni, he sees how someone is engaged and will make little adaptations so that it becomes devotional service. Like when he met Dhruva was going to do his austerities to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And when Narada Muni came along in the forest and he saw Dhruva, he said, "What are you going to do here?" And Dhruva said, he told all what happened, that he was offended by Surichi's stepmother and so on. And he said, "I'm going to do these austerities." And Narada Muni said, "This is for adults. You are still 5 years. You go to your mother and you come back later." But Dhruva said, "No, I will do them. No way." And when Narada Muni saw his determination, he said, "Yes, okay, do your austerities. But while doing your austerities, make a deity of the Supreme Lord and always chant the following mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya." And by that, his austerities became devotional service. And he became purified. It tricked him. So that is also very special. that there are, so Srila Prabhupada writes, yes, there is a need of an expert physician, one who knows how to engage a disciple so that this labor becomes devotional service, that so that the fruits of his work are going to the Supreme Personality of God. That, of course, Narada's previous life has been explained in detail in the Bhagavatam, in the fifth and sixth chapter of this first canto, and we will go through that in detail. But Narada was in his 2 lives before, he was Upabharana. He was a Gandharva. Gandharva, the angels with wings, and they can sing beautifully. They are very, very great musicians, poets, and beauty. And so, but Upabharana at that time, he was attracted to the female Gandharvas, and he was flirting with them. And one day, the sages organized a Sankirtan festival to glorify Lord Vishnu. And there Upabharana appeared with his girlfriends, and they were singing, Srila Prabhupada said, cinema songs. And the songs glorified the demigods. And the sages became annoyed, and they cursed him. They said to Narada, we curse you to take birth as a Sudra, as a human. And in next birth, he was the son of a Sudrani. His mother, there was only his mother in the Bhagavatam. There's no mention of the father. Looks like a Kali Yuga situation. In Kali Yuga, it's the same, yeah, you see. But many children, no idea what their father is. And that becomes very prominent. But his mother was taking care of Bhaktivedantas, great sages who stopped traveling during the Chaturmasya, which is going to start now somewhere, that very soon, the Chaturmasya, they were traveling, that they were not traveling, and they were together, and they were discussing the whole day the Bhagavatam, that the Bhakti Vedantas, that and Narada was listening to them and helped his mother serving them prasad, and was after offering them prasad, and when they are finished, he begged them, can I have your honor your remnants, that so that, and by doing that, Narada in his previous life became purified. And it is said, although he was 5 years old, he became very sober, that he was not interested in playing like the other children, that he became serious in spiritual life. But after 4 months, the Bhaktivedantas left. And there he was with his mother, and his mother was very attached to him because it was his only son. But then one night, his mother went out in the middle of the night to milk a cow, and was bitten by a cobra. Who is going to out in the middle of the night to milk a cow? must be providence. So his mother died, and when Narada Muni heard this, he saw immediately the hand of the Supreme Lord. Now I'm free. And he performed the last rites, and he started to walk to the north. And he continued traveling that, and always chanting the holy names of the Lord. And not one day he was chanting and was sitting with his back to a pipala tree, a banyan tree. And suddenly he felt great ecstasy, and he felt the Supreme Lord in his heart. But it remained only a few moments, and then it disappeared. And then a voice came, "Oh, you will not see me anymore in this life because you are not yet completely pure." After that, little Narada, he tried again to chant the holy names, but following the instructions of the Bhaktivedantas, doing precisely the same thing, but he could not see the Supreme Lord anymore. But he had got that experience, and he always was thinking of the Supreme Lord he saw. And then one day, that death came, and if death was experienced like a lightning, and suddenly, in a flash, he was in his spiritual body. And in that spiritual body, and he entered the body of Mahavishnu. And during the next creation, he was created, so-called created by Brahma, but as a pastime, it came out of his mind when Brahma was meditating on devotion. One can say that two things here. Narada Muni, he was in the body of Mahavishnu until the next creation. That's very long. We cannot imagine trillions and trillions and trillions of years. How is that? Is that not a great punishment? No, that means we don't understand the situation. Now, how long does the creation take for Mahavishnu? It's one exhalation, and an annihilation is inhalation. It's just a second. But for us, it's very, very long. But because Narada Muni was on the spiritual platform, for him it was also just a second. Different experience. Mm-hmm. And he remembered his previous life, every detail. That happens when we are on the spiritual platform. When we come to the spiritual platform, then whatever happens, we continue remembering that. We see that Bharat Maharaj, he was on the level of bhava, but he got an accident and he became deviated, and he became attracted to a deer, and he was thinking of the deer when he left his body, and he got the body of a deer, but he remembered still his previous life, because he was on bhava, above liberation. That's explained in the 7th count of the Bhagavatam, in the purpose of 7.4, 7.5 of the 1st count, which we will study in a few months, probably. There we can read that in the purpose Srila Prabhupada's right, the spirit soul in the unconditional state, the state of liberation, has its own thinking, feeling, and willing. But now in the conditioned state, this thinking, feeling, and willing is separated from our real self. It has become material elements, mind, ego, false ego, an intelligence. And that's conducted by material nature. But then, when we become self-realized, our thinking, feeling, willing is done by the spiritual body again, which is fully manifested again, even within the gross body in which we become pure. These are high levels of realization. That's above liberation. That's from the states of nistha, steadiness in devotional service. Unfortunately, we cannot, most of us, and practically all of us, we cannot be studying devotional service. You can try to think of the Supreme Lord, but then next moment the mind goes to something else. Unsteadiness is already there. It's in the mind. That's something what we can learn from Narada Muni's experiences. That spiritual memory is everlasting. That when we become spiritual means eternal. Narada Muni was also begifted with the power to know past, present, and future. So Narada Muni is also one of the 12 Mahajans. Svambhu, Narada, Sambhu, Kumara, Kapalona, Palad, Sanako, Bhishmo, Bali, Vyapa, Sakir, Fayam. Who are the 12 Mahajans? Lord Brahma. And then it's called Bhagavan Narada. Narada is also called Bhagavan, a great personality, because he represents the Bhakti Shakti of Krishna. So also in the 10th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there in verse 10:27, Lord Krishna says, Devashinam Sanarada, of the sages among the demigods, I'm Narad, he said. It's part of his Vibhutis, the Vibhuti chapter, these great opulences. So Srila Prabhupada in a lecture says, if we follow the same the instructions of the spiritual master, the instructions of the bona fide spiritual master are the same instructions as the instructions of Narada Muni. If we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, we follow the instructions of Narada Muni. So Narada Muni appeared in Yerushalayim in all pastimes. In the pastime in the Ram Lila, he appears before Ravan. Ravan had just kidnapped Sita. And Narada advises Ravan, you better give Sita back to Ram as soon as possible. Otherwise, you will meet with your destruction. And Ravan becomes angry and he takes his sword is going to kill Narada. And with his sword, he tries to kill Narada and zip, and he's going to his body. And Narada Muni is still standing there in the air, and he tries again, zip, and Narada Muni is still there. So then Ravan becomes a little diplomatic and says that, oh Narada, what kind of body do you have? Oh Narada Muni said, this is a spiritual body. And Ravan is asking, can I also get such a body? Narada Muni said, yes, no problem. You just have to perform the devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. And when Ravana heard Vishnu, he said, no, not possible. Yes. One lesson, another lesson of Narada Muni's pastime, when he was with this, in his previous life, with this Bhaktivedantas, he was hearing from them. And he became attracted to hearing Krishna Katha, very much attracted. Srila Prabhupada writes, this is a sign of advancing in devotional service. That if we become attracted to the hearing, that means we become purified. So there are many other stories. That there is a story of Narada Muni, who is traveling on the earth, and he meets a Paka Brahman. And is nicely received and worshipped by the Brahman. And the Brahman is asking, Narada, will you go to see Lord Krishna and in the spiritual world? And Narada Muni said, yes. Can you ask me a question for me? Narada Muni said, yes. Asking how many lifetimes I have still to go before going to the spiritual world. And Narada Muni said, okay. And then he travels further and comes to a cobbler for making shoes. And when the cobbler sees Narada Muni, he starts dancing out of joy and offer him in respect is well received by the cobbler with great enthusiasm. After that, Narada Muni goes to the spiritual world, and there he meets Krishna. And he asks Krishna this, and he said about this cobbler. He asked me how many lives still to go. And Krishna said, oh, about 1,000 lives and he will come back. But then Krishna says, this cobbler you met, he will go back to the spiritual world in this life. And now the man said, how is that? This cobbler, the Sudra, he's lower caste, and there you have this Brahman, he's very clean and so on. This cobbler, he comes in contact with a mode of ignorance, and that shoes making. How is that? Now that means that you will see when you visit them. If they are asking what I'm doing, then tell them that I try to push an elephant to the eye of a needle. So then Narada Muni, I came back to the material world and went to this cobbler, and he said, and the cobbler offered this respect and asked, did you see Krishna? Did you ask my question? And Narada Muni said, yes. He said, in 1,000 lives you will go back. And the cobbler, the Brahman became disappointed. And a little angry, he said to Narada Muni, did you really go to see Krishna? I don't believe. What was he doing? And Narada Muni said, I was trying to push an elephant to the eye of a needle. And the Brahman said, oh, this is all invented. The Supreme Lord does not do these things. And then he was going further. And he met this cobbler. And this cobbler was dancing out of ecstasy again. And he said, and he asked, he was asking, he asked Narada Muni, did you see Krishna? And Narada Muni said, yes. What was he doing? And Narada said, he was pushing an elephant to the eye of a needle. And the cobbler said, how wonderful, my Lord can everything, can do everything. And they became very joyful. That then Narada asked him, do you have faith in this? Of course, the cobbler said, that you see this banyan tree here? From one seed of this banyan tree, one seed has a potency to create many, many more banyan trees and create more seeds and so on. So if the Lord can do that, then pushing an elephant to the eye of a needle is nothing. Hare Krishna. So he had such great faith. That's so there are many stories. But another event is that at Soar Street, one day Prabhupada was there, and in the morning the kirtan became ecstatic. And when the kirtan was finished, when the devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how is it that it became so ecstatic? And Prabhupada said, did you not see? Brahma was here and Narada. And he instructed the pujaris to make little seeds at the right and put them at the side of each of the altar. One seed for Brahma and one seed for Narada. And these seeds are still there. That small seeds you can see. That so there's also the story of Brihari, the hunter. That is who became also a disciple of Narada Muni. Brihari means the enemy of the animals. He was killing animals with his bow, and he was killing them half. And Narada Muni was traveling to the forest, and he saw all these animals half killed, and he said to and then he met Brihari, who had a beard and very strong with a bow, and he said, "Are you killing these animals?" And Brihari said, "Yes, this is my profession. I have one request for you. For you." Narada Muni said, "Yeah, yes." The Brihari said, "Yeah, you can ask me what you want to do. Do you want some deer skins?" And I said, no. I just want you to kill these animals completely. Don't let them suffering unnecessary. Yes, Brihari said, but I learned it like that from my father. It's my livelihood. But then Narada Muni said, do you know how much you will suffer from this as a reaction in future lives? And he gave him a vision so that he could see the suffering. And that changed his heart. Brihari the hunter said, what can I do about it? Please instruct me. Now the Muni said, before I instruct you, you have to break your bow. But then the Brihari said, how will I maintain myself? I will take care of that, Narada Muni said. And he broke his bow and he instructed Brihari the hunter to go home before his house, plant the Tulsi tree and chant with his family Hare Krishna. And he followed this instruction. And he became purified in heart. And all the people in the neighboring village, they heard there Narada became a great saint. They heard that Mejari the hunter became a great saint. And they started pilgrimage to visit the saintly hunter. And they brought all some gifts, some food, vegetables, fruit, so many things. And they got 10 times more food than they needed. And then suddenly, a few months later, Narada Muni appeared with Parvata Muni. They are many times together. And there they saw that when Narada Muni appeared for Mejari first brushed away the ants aside on the floor, not to hurt him, and then offered them dandavats, respects, to his spiritual master. And Parvata Muni said, how is this possible? It was such a cruel hunter, and now he is even afraid to hurt an ant. Narada Muni also appeared in Chaitanya Lila. There he was Shrivas. Shrivas is Narada Muni. So one time, Lord Chaitanya and its associate organized a drama, and Shrivas was playing the role of Narada Muni. And Lord Chaitanya said, you play it with such conviction. It's like you are Narada Muni. You are Narada Muni. So we will stop here. Much more to tell about Narada Muni. Maybe another time we will continue. Any question? Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Samal.
Thank you, Guru for the nice class. I just had a small question about Narada Muni. So,
yes,
how did he get this impetus to preach? How did he develop such compassion that he just goes everywhere to preach?
Yeah, this is the characteristic of a purified heart. If you become purified in heart, that compassion is not really there. Why is it there? You experience great bliss, ecstasy, and you want to share that with others, give that to others. So that is why Narada Muni developed that. If one becomes pure in heart, then you want only to please Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, it said, the preach of Krishna consciousness at the end of the 18th chapter, Krishna says, is most dear to me, and there will be no one more dear. So that's purity. Only want to please Krishna. Only want to please the spiritual master. It's the same principle. Any other question? Thank you very much. Then we continue tomorrow with Narayan Rishi, another incarnation. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada. Hare Bo.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Bo.
Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Jai.